Well, I've had requests. I don't usually take requests, uh, but I have had requests nevertheless for a couple of things. And one of them is that I should cover Astroworld and the disaster that took place there that resulted in the official deaths of 8 people and the injury of many more. Um, I wonder if the death toll is not what they're telling us that it is, because I've listened to a couple of eyewitnesses, and of course, an eyewitness is not necessarily fully trustworthy. He might be saying, the truth about what he's perceived, but maybe he's off in his perceptions in one way or another. But I heard one one young guy talk about seeing like numerous dead bodies, and and he was estimating like in the hundreds. So it could have been that he saw people who were down or who were unconscious or who were badly hurt, and thought that they were dead. Jumped to that conclusion, but I think that's a pretty uh, there's something odd about the number 8 being assigned to the number of deaths. And not that I have any numerical opinion about that. Numerology is really not my bag. I'm not saying there's no truth to it. I just find, you can, to me, it almost seems like you can almost always make numbers mean whatever you want them to mean. Um, so that's the first thing I think of. These are just my impressionistic thoughts on this event. Take them for whatever they're worth. Um, of course, there's all of the weird, um, and maybe people could say, oh well, it's just showmanship. Um, all of the for instance the picture, the sculpture of Travis Travis Scott, the rapper, uh, and with his mouth open in a way that exactly resembles or recalls Hieronymus Bosch, and his hellmouth depiction in one of his paintings, one of the famous paintings that depicts the entrance into hell. There's all kinds of things about the imagery that is very, as the young people say, sus. Um, you've got a stage that's shaped like an upside down cross, and then behind it there's this vortex thing, the spiral thing, and there's all this stuff about coming to the other side. See you on the other side, I think, was flashed at one point. It's my understanding, this is something I heard again from a concert goer directly. And when I've been looking up stuff about this online, I've been trying to find just videos made either on Instagram or YouTube or wherever that bypass the whole news filter. I'm when it's local news, I'm more okay with that. But when it's like national news, when it's Good Morning America, I don't really care to hear from them about something like this. I don't think much truth can be gleaned from the national news, the corporate news on these kinds of events. So when the times that I've heard from people who were there, directly, they're speaking directly to the camera about their experiences. They talk about just a sinister atmosphere pervading the show, and this kind of these kinds of strange vibrations that are being sent out. These noises that like synthesizer noises that are very eerie, and again, people can just say, well, that's just the pageantry of it, or they're just creating a spooky atmosphere or whatever. Um, and I'm not against having a spooky show with spooky imagery, and I don't just think that automatically means this is this is the work of Satan or anything like that. But it does seem like they were going overboard with a lot of satanic type imagery. There, like there was a time where a beast-looking figure, a satanic horned-looking figure appeared on the screen. Again, there's the Hellmouth sculpture, and just efforts to it seems create this pervading atmosphere that a lot of people reported as or called demonic, and those were the words of the concert goers, the words that they used, like just young people who were there and who saw it all go down. So the skeptics will say it was just, it's a tragedy, but it doesn't have anything to do with any hocus pocus. It was just, another one of those times where you have, like at many other rock shows in the past, where these kinds of things have happened, where people rush in and there's too many people in one place, and people get crushed and lose consciousness and get trampled on, and it's happened before. I think there are some very infamous examples of it in the history of rock shows in the last few decades. There was also what was it, White Lion, the thing that happened in somewhere up in New Jersey, where the pyrotechnics were caught the club on fire and killed a bunch of people, including people in the band. And then I think there was some other thing that happened in a club like that at around the same time. So there's definitely room for the whole, like, it was just poorly planned. They didn't anticipate the kind of crowds that would show up, and what would happen. That these people would be all bunched together. They were talking about there were a lot of the concert goers were talking about how it just felt like they basically couldn't move. They were just on top of each other, and you would sway back and forth. They'd push you one way, and then you'd get pushed the other way. And it sounds like a really terrifying thing to be in the middle of, because how you fall down and basically you're going to get trampled if there's how many thousands of people there. So I think there's maybe just the more garden variety, less less esoteric kind of assessment that could be made of the tragedy of what happened at the event. But there were plenty of weird things, and a couple of other things that I'm going to mention. One of them is there was somebody going around giving people injections. A security guard got shot. Didn't get shot with a gun, but got a shot. Somebody injected something into his neck, and he fell unconscious. And supposedly there were maybe other reports of that as well. So who is this person going around just injecting random people with who knows what? I mean, that's a big question. Is this somebody just off on their own, doing their own thing? Just some sicko who gets their jollies off of this? Or might that person be, if you want to think more, dare I say, conspiratorially, might that be part of the whole, atmosphere creation? Like this, just creating this pervasive, feeling of darkness and druggedness and, this hallucinatory kind of sense of things, the flames going off on stage. And the other thing was one guy reported, one of the ones who made his own video and recorded it on Instagram. he reported that one of the earlier performers before Travis Scott took the stage, Master P, said, "Don't die tonight." He ended his set by saying, "Hey, no, don't die tonight." Which, if that's true, if that's what he actually said, um, I don't know. I don't know how you could make something innocent out of that statement. Um, that's just a very strange thing to say. Why would you say something like that in a at a festive setting, at a concert? Why would you say "Don't die tonight"? Um, so let's see if there's anything else that I can think of. I'm hearing different things about whether Travis Scott, the performer, during his set, whether he was responsible enough to I'm hearing people say he never stopped the show. That people were screaming for him to stop it. That some kids were running up and telling people in the crew that people were getting crushed and all sorts of terrible things were happening, and that he was mostly non-responsive to that. And somebody even said that he said something like, "Y'all know why you were here. Y'all know why you came." But I've heard other people say no. And I did see a segment where he stopped the music for a second when he saw that there was somebody being collected. There was an ambulance that had come in to take somebody who had passed out, to take them away. And some people say that they just went on with the show until the bitter end. But I've heard other people say that no, they eventually did stop the show. So as far as whether the performers should have known better or not, that's something I have a really hard time weighing in on. And I would tend to give the performers the benefit of the doubt, just because if you're on stage and you've got this massive crowd of people, they're all screaming, they're all saying different things at different times. You can't, and even if bad things are happening, when it's a big crowd of people, you don't necessarily see that. So I mean, I think about the famous documentary "Gimme Shelter," which was about the Rolling Stones and their concert, where the Hell's Angels were the security team, and they ended up killing somebody in the crowd. And that was the famous "Why are we fighting? Why are we fighting?" That when fights would break out, that's what Mick Jagger was saying, and somewhat ineffectually, to try to and maybe a little bit half-heartedly, to try to stop the violence from happening. This reminds me of that in some ways, and that there's a lot of talk about that event being a ritual thing. That I've heard that the reference in a certain verse of Don McLean's song "American Pie" makes reference to that very event. So chances are that this was a ritualized thing. I mean, I'm given the kind of imagery that's used, given the fact that we know the entertainment industry does go in for ritual. It's part of what they do, and a lot of them are sick MFers who do terrible things. A lot of people in not just the music industry, but the entertainment industry generally, Hollywood, and the music industry, and elsewhere in the higher echelons of entertainment and government and business and whatnot. So these are just my impressionistic thoughts about the event, Astroworld, and the tragedy that happened there. Let me know what y'all think, because I know there was at least one of you evinced some interest in me covering this. So I'm just throwing out there my thoughts, my reflections from what I've been able to glean. So leave your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. Check out my work at altrightnovelist.com. My latest book, The Insurrectionist, can be purchased at terrorhousepress.com.